US paedophilia on a massive level, which goes right up to politicians and people, you know, in high positions of power, who had, you know, literally they could pick up the phone and they could have 40 or 50 boys on an aircraft going to Las Vegas to be buggered. And this was regular business. And Yorkshire Television were putting this out, and they got bought out by the paedophiles, and they were saying that the children in this documentary were saying that they had been threatened and basically went underground, and some of them even disappeared after the documentary had been made. Yeah. And can you remember what it's called? Because
I'm afraid I can't. And just if I may, because I can't. I have heard what you're talking about, but I can't substantiate that right. Part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's available on YouTube because it got leaked.
Okay.
They thought it was destroyed, but somebody in Yorkshire Television pulled a copy out before they destroyed it.
Right.
And it's there, and it's full Yorkshire Television, and Yorkshire Television said yes, we did make this, but we did stop.
Right. What I can tell you is that in this case, the Holly Gregg case, that the BBC was going to do a documentary to expose what happened to this girl, and the team who were going to make the documentary were warned off by senior people in the BBC. Not only that they would not go near that case, but they would not be reporting on any other paedophile cases in Scotland. And that's a fact, and we hold the information on it. Sir.
Are you saying that this paedophilia problem is fundamental to what's wrong with the country? Or
it's symptom.
Just one small aspect of our bigger problem?
Well, safety of our children, I would suggest, is a very, very important issue, but it's a facet which is prevalent enough that we need to really pay attention to what's going on.
What sort of scale are you trying to say it's at? I mean, are you saying that 20% of MPs are? I can't possibly say, but I can say to you with certainty that one of the things the police want to do at the moment is actually have a centralised unit to tackle paedophilia, because they're finding that their actions within a police area are not able to keep up with the UK-wide gangs. So the police at the moment, and if you've got police friends, you can go and check it out, are actually really trying to ramp up their ability to deal with these gangs. And of course, one of the things that's causing problems is we now have so many people coming into the country who are unidentified that they can disappear very easily, and particularly young people.
Brian,
yeah.
Did you want to change subject?
Yes, please.
Well, has anyone got a question on a different subject? This lady here.
Can I just endorse what you've been saying?
Wait. Come back. Finish with paedophilia for the time being. We'll get back to it after midnight. Your question, please.
Yeah, you know, you were talking earlier about the regionalisation and the split up.
Yes.
I'm just interested to know, in Northern Ireland at the moment, there's like devolution of Parliament. Is that a good thing?
I personally don't believe it is, but I think Mike perhaps might like to comment since he's from... You don't? Okay. The devolution, everywhere we see devolution, it's advertised as giving power down to the local community level. If you actually look at the mechanisms by which that devolved power works, it deals in terms of what are called stakeholder groups. And if you look at a stakeholder group, it consists of a group of people who have been appointed as representatives of varying organisations. So a stakeholder group might have a member from the local primary healthcare trust, somebody from the local police, somebody from the local university, a charity, very often Common Purpose is used for that. And so you'll have a cluster of people and they will make the decisions. And when you see the reports and the minutes written up afterwards, they claim their democracy from the fact that they were representative of the community. But they are stakeholders, they are not elected, you can't remove them, you can't track what they're doing. So What I see, and this is actually one of the things, short of the fishing industry, that I began to get interested in, is that you see the government talking about getting power down to the communities, but when you see the form that power is implemented in, it actually does the opposite. It removes accountability. And we now have local councillors popping up all over the country who are realising that their power is being stripped away. And about 2 months ago, 2 councillors in Plymouth, who have recently resigned from the Labour Party because they can't stand the corrupt bullying, etc., going on in it, were prepared to tell me that they'd been on a course run by the local government association, and on that course, one of them was told specifically that in the not too distant future there will only be appointed positions, and democratically elected local councillors will cease to exist. And he told that to me face to face. So I believe that the devolving of power is a smokescreen. What you are actually doing is building, you are building centralised control to the lowest level. And we know for a fact that we're now seeing parish councils drawn into this system, so that approaches are being made to parish councils by universities very often, saying that they're going to train them in how to deal with the new structures of government and the stakeholder system. And what it's actually doing is sucking power away from the parish councils. And I was a parish councillor at one stage.
So, in fact, the other name for these are quangos, and there are something in excess of 1,000 of them.
Well, that's correct, but we have to go a step further, because there are quangos that are identifiable as quangos, and then there are other partnership bodies which you can't actually define because they fall in between it. Yeah. If you go onto the internet, start to look, where's a good city for you to look at? Swindon. Put in the word Swindon and partnership or partnerships, and you will start to see these little clusters of groups. And if you go and dig into them and you say, well, who are these people? Where did they come from? How did they get appointed? You won't find any track. But what they do get is government money. And this is one of the ways that all of the European money's been used. If I take Cornwall, in Objective 1 funding, 320 million was pumped into Cornwall about 10 years ago. And if you say to somebody, OK, where's the accounts? How was it spent? They can't tell you. 51 million of single regeneration budget was pumped into a company created by Plymouth City Council, and no councillor, and I couldn't get at it, ever saw the accounts of where that money was spent. Now, once a year, you're entitled to go into a council as a member of the public and ask to see the accounts. We did it. And we never saw the accounts for that money. And the reason is it's broken into little pockets, and then that is filtered out to these little quango organisations so that people feed. And in Devonport, where my real story starts, because that's where the threats and intimidation started, £25 million disappeared into an area of the city. Nobody ever saw a full set of accounts. But amongst other things, the money was spent on, £5,000 went on paying for somebody's private wedding reception. When a member of the public alerted Alison Seebeck MP to what was happening, I've just said that on camera, the gentleman received a phone call where it was suggested this was not very helpful, that he should be inquiring about what was happening. Why would anybody do that? Right? So the system you're up against, we are up against, is massive. It's not talking about subverting a community.